Hi everyone, welcome back to Cogent English. Today I'm here with the last poetry from our HSA English Module 1, that Aboriginal Australia. So in this video I'm going to explain the detailed analysis of the poetry and some multiple choice questions. And I'm very happy today. The reason is I completed all the 23 poems from Module 1, our HSA English syllabus. From HSA English syllabus, I completed all the 23 poetries and its MCQs. I created a playlist which includes all the videos, all the 23 poems and its MCQs in one folder. So the link I will add in the description. You can go through it. Okay, one more request. You have to select, you can just suggest the modules which I wanted to take in the coming days. The module 1 now already completed, module 2, 3, 4, and there are many modules. So which module do you want to start from my channel? You can just suggest and comment below. So accordingly I will start that module, and in the coming days I will upload more videos from different modules. So you can just comment the module which you really wish to or wanted to start from this channel. Accordingly I will create the videos on your requested module. So let's get started.
Aboriginal Australia by Jack Davis. Aboriginal Australia, also known by its first line To Others, appears in Noongar playwright and poet Jack Davis' poetry collection Jagardu, Poems from Aboriginal Australia. So here Aboriginal means what? The native people. Okay, and we can say the ancient people in a land, we can say. So this poem is all about the atrocities of European colonizers on the Aboriginal Australians. So atrocities, the cruel act, the brutality of the colonizers to Aboriginal Australians. Okay, so the former, clad with military power, sacked the peaceful lives of the indigenous people and denied them their birthright, their land, and their freedom. Those who came in their way were either eliminated or oppressed. In the poem, Davis details a number of brutish events occurring in Australia, starting from the settlement of colonizers till the day of writing this poem in the 21st century. The summary of the poetry: John Davis' poem Aboriginal Australia begins with a reference to the cunningness of colonizers. They crept in, showing off their brotherly facade, and eliminated the indigenous people one by one. It was a stratagem or strategy devised to fend off the enemies from their profitable venture. Throughout this poetry, Davis alludes to several events such as denial of Yirkala's plea, the massacre at Lake George Hills, brutal killings of Warara men and the Murray tribe. And the list does not end here. Afterward, the poet details the episodes of tortures in order to hint at how dissenting voices were subdued. Finally, Davis criticizes the colonizers' justification of ruthless killings and says that the real story of Aboriginal Australians is written in the pages of history. So, the structure of the poem, structure and form of the poetry. The poem Aboriginal Australia is written from the perspective of a first person speaker who represents the Aboriginal as a whole. Okay, definitely a representative of the Aboriginal Australian. And it is composed in the form of a protest poem. Here, an agitated subject expresses his concerns in a straightforward manner. Besides, the poem contains a regular meter. Davis wrote this piece using the alternative ABAB rhyming scheme. ABAB rhyming scheme. If the first line is separated from the body of the text, it can clearly be grouped into 8 quatrains in respect to the rhyme scheme. Davis uses the end stopped stanza form in order to end each unit. Alongside that, the poem is mostly composed of the iambic meter without a specific metrical pattern. With the poetic devices used, irony. Irony here, Davies uses this device throughout the poem in order to comment on the brutalities of the European colonizers. Here, an example, it occurs in "You once smiled a friendly smile." You once smiled a friendly smile. Irony. Said we were kin to one another. We were kin. Kin means what? Relatives, right? So these are kind of ironies, and here the poet criticizes the colonizers a very crafty mindset. Colonizers' crafty mindset. Yeah. Now metaphor. It occurs in the line they you then you swamped my way gladness. Here the poet compares the way of being happy to a path that is inundated by the rulers. The term swamped is used to signify the destruction of Aboriginals' happiness. This device is also used in thin stick bikes of people. Alliteration examples like we were, snapped shut, kith and kind, murdered me, etc. Allusion like David alludes to the Yirrkala bark petitions in the line at Yirrkala's plea denied. He also alludes to the massacre at Lake George Hills in the 1820s. Epigram, the last two lines of the poem contains this device. Here the poet says that the real story can be found in the metaphorical crucifixion of the indigenous people. Here now it's a nutshell. When we discuss the questions and answers, we will get the nutshell of the poetry. So what is the poem Aboriginal Australia by Jack Davies about? So Davies Aboriginal Australia is all about the colonial atrocities in Australia. The poet describes how the colonizers at first settled in their land and how they started ransacking their resources. Ransacking means what? Like utilizing, looting, anything you can say. He also records several brutal events concerning the massacre of indigenous people. And why did Jack Davies write Aboriginal Australia? So Jack Davies wrote this poem of protest in order to throw light on the devilish and brutish mindset of the colonizers. He records the killing of several indigenous people and highlights the way the colonizers treated them. What is the theme of Aboriginal Australia? This poem taps on the themes of Aboriginality, colonial atrocities, and the suffering of indigenous Australians. So you can expect an MCQ question in connection with the theme of Aboriginal Australia. Okay, who is the speaker of the poem? The speaker of the poem is an Aboriginal Australian who died in a massacre during colonial rule. He represents the poet Jack Davies as well. What Aboriginal tribe did Jack Davies identify with? Jack Davies identified himself with the Western Australian Noongar or as the 20th century tribe. Aboriginal poet laureate Jack Davies. The poem Aboriginal Australia was taken from Jagardu, Poems from Aboriginal Australia. Next question. Poems of Jack Davies are noted for the themes of dash and dash, Aboriginality and Aboriginalism. Next question. Jack Davies was the editor of Aboriginal periodical magazine. Which one? Identity. Answer is identity. Next question. Jack Davies include references of dash language in his works. Noongar. Next question. Dash wrote Kullark. Answer Jack Davies. Dash is the first work of Jack Davies. The answer is the firstborn. The firstborn. Next question. The work No Sugar was written by Jack Davies. The poem was published in 1978. Aboriginal Australia published in 1978. We can expect a question. Next question. How many lines are there in the poem? There are total 33 lines in the poetry. 33. What is the tone of the poem? Answer: an openly depressed tone. What is Irkalas? An Australian tribe. Irkalas. In which tribe Jack Davis belonged to? Noongar tribe. The word red tape refers to excessive bureaucracy. Excessive bureaucracy. The word red tape means excessive bureaucracy. Warara, Irkala, Murray are dash mentioned in the poem. These are Australian tribes. Warara, Irkala. Next question. Name the governor referred in the lines "Smile on the governor's face." Answer: Captain James Stirling. Dash is a battle over a freshwater lake mentioned in the poem Aboriginal Australia. Answer: Lake George Hill incident. Okay. Next question. Dash was the conflict between Binjara tribe and the Europeans in the poem Aboriginal Australia. Pinjara Massacre. Pinjara Massacre occurred in 1834. Next question. Pinjara Massacre occurred in 1834. There was traditional document of Aboriginal mentioned in the poem. That is what bark petition, we can call it bark petition. The word my side refers to Mother Australia. The word others refers to the Aboriginal clans. The Aboriginal clans. The word you refers to the Western people.